Welcome to Transformational Teaching. I'm Stacy McCarthy, and whether you're a new or a seasoned yoga teacher, you have the potential to transform your students' lives. The fact that you're watching this means that you're committed to being the best teacher possible. I'll be sharing some tips and adjustments that can transform your teaching and your practice, taking your classes from good to great and turning your students into raving fans. Students learn differently. Some are visual. They need to actually see you demonstrate a pose. Some are auditory. They need to hear clear, concise, and direct verbal cues. And some are kinesthetic. They need to actually feel your physical touch move them into a pose. The most rewarding and fulfilling classes happen when we seamlessly blend all three learning modalities. One of the most challenging areas for many teachers are hands-on physical adjustments. I'll be sharing 3 keys or 3 actions that can help you with your hands-on adjustments. The first key is sensitivity, the second key is stabilization, and the third key is adjust. Let's look at key number 1, sensitivity. How we approach our students can make a difference of whether or not they feel threatened or if they feel comfort and ease. We want to look for the beauty in the pose first, what they're doing well. We're not here to fix the pose or fix our students. Key number 2 is stabilization. This is a holding or a grounding of a certain body part to help our students feel stronger and more control in the pose. And third, we adjust. Once we have permission for physical touch, once our students are stable and grounded and aligned, now we get to adjust and help them find more lightness, more expression, more joy in the pose. So our 3 keys are sensitivity, stabilization, and adjust. If you practice one of these yoga adjustments and it doesn't work for you, throw it out. If you do one that you like, use it with your students. For a more detailed explanation of more yoga assist, prioritization, who do we touch first, ethics, and safety guidelines, please refer to Transformational Teaching, Lessons Learned on and Off the Mat, the companion book to this DVD. Thank you for being a yoga teacher. Namaste. Before we begin our hands-on adjustments, it's important to understand the body's platforms, how they align, and what they protect. Allie, our yoga model, will be demonstrating our poses today, and we're going to begin in Tadasana, the mountain pose, which is the foundation or blueprint for all yoga poses. Let's take a look at the body's first platform, which are the feet and the ankles. The feet and the ankles protect our vulnerable knees. Our second platform is the pelvic girdle, which protects our low back. And the third platform of the body is the shoulder girdle, which protects the neck. There's 3 actions that happen within each platform. The first action is alignment of the bones so they properly protect the body. The second action is to stabilize the alignment by engaging the muscles around the bones. And then the third action is to elongate, create space, create length and ease in the pose. So let's take a look at Utthita Hastasana in Tadasana, our first pose. Common misalignments in this pose is an overarching of the low back. So a way to adjust out of this is to take your hands on the back ribs, gently lift the back ribs as you soften the front ribs. This brings our pelvis back to neutral. A second common alignment is not enough energy in through the arms and the hands or the arms turned out. So we firm the outer arms in. This can help to lengthen the arms and give a little more grounding. Sometimes a counteraction needs to happen when the outer arms are firmed in because the shoulders creep up near the ears. So we can give a little bit of awakening touch at the trapezius with a reminder to release the shoulders from the ears. So the adjustments are: lift the back ribs and soften the front ribs to relieve overarching of the low back. Firm the outer arms in and gently give an awakening touch at the trapezius to release the shoulders from the ears. The next pose is Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Here in California, we see a common misalignment called surfing your mat. So the adjustment for this one is to bring a hand into the hip crease and the hand to the back arm, and then draw your student back so their shoulders and their hips are in alignment. The second common misalignment in this one are the shoulders, again, creeping up by the ears, so we can do that awakening touch and just have the shoulders release from the ears. Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Uttita Trikonasana, triangle pose. The entry is hand at the hip crease, elongate the torso, and bring it down. Thigh to hip, hand to shoulder. Be sensitive of how much pressure you have here. You want to have them feel stable and grounded. To come out, help them out. Inhale all the way up. Exhale there. Uttita Trikonasana. Uttita Parsvakonasana, extended side angle pose. From here, we're going to straddle the back leg, and then we're going to use our thighs to firm the back hip and the front hip in so that we give some stability around the pelvis. Then we're going to give the arm an upper arm rotation to help release the shoulder away from the ear. To release, we slowly release at the pelvis, come out, and then help our student back up. Uttita Parsvakonasana, extended side angle pose. Parsvottanasana, intense side stretch pose. If you have a student that's a little more stiff, they're going to grab their elbows behind the back. From here, you're going to firm their outer hips in, and then you can give them a little bit of a thigh squeeze, drawing their front thigh back so they anchor their back heel. This gives them a little more control and grounding. And then just allow them to elongate on their own. On their inhale, they'll come back up, continuing to squeeze at the hips, and then slowly release the thigh. For someone more flexible, they'll bring their hands into a reverse prayer up the back. Once again, we're going to firm their outer hips in, and then we can give them that little thigh squeeze so they're more stabilized. As they fold forward, we keep the hips level, and now we can move up to the shoulders. So from here, we'll bring our hands underneath the shoulders, help draw their shoulders back, and allow them to lengthen down. So we're stabilizing through the legs, firming in at the hips, and then releasing the shoulders. We come out with sensitivity, releasing at the shoulder girdle first, firm their hips in, release the thigh, and let them up at their own pace. Parsvottanasana, intense side stretch pose. Parivritta Trikonasana, the revolving triangle. For this adjustment, we're going to anchor or ground the front foot, and then we'll have a hand on the hip and a hand on the shoulder. My back hip is at her back shoulder, so she feels stable. I'm not putting a lot of pressure there, but then I gently start to elongate the torso to create more space and more length through the torso. To come out, I gently release. I like to put my hand at the sacrum so they feel a little bit of grounding, and then I slowly bring them all the way back up. Parivritta Trikonasana, revolving triangle. Uttita Hasta Padagustasana, hand to big toe posture. So this is a balancing posture, so we need to be careful with our students. You're going to gently place your foot on theirs to help anchor them, and then one hand on the low back, one hand underneath the heel. And then they can slowly forward bend. They're going to forward bend at their own rate. So we're not forcing them down at all. We're just helping them find a little more stability in their forward fold. And then once they've reached their edge, they'll slowly come all the way back up using the strength of their center. We want to help them find stability here, making sure they're solid and center, and then slowly release the foot, and then slowly release the hand. Uttita Hasta Padagustasana.